So let's get started. So my first question is, can each of you share with us that one unique experience that led you to applying for this internship?
I could actually start. Good afternoon, everyone. I think for me, it was quite simple because obviously recently I was opportune to meet with some team of data scientists from Institute of Cancer Research, and during one of our events, I was exposed to a lot of data, and that data was really very challenging to me. I used to boast about my technical skill and how good I am in SQL. For obvious reason, when I saw that data, even running simple stored procedures was very difficult for me. I was like, if you see a database having over 80 million rows, how confused are you going to be? So for me, that was very, very, very challenging for me to do, and I was like, this internship was really needed. I used to think that I'm up to the level where I should be applying for middle to senior manager roles. You understand? But that was a very, really humbling experience for me, and I was like, this internship will be very important for me, and I'm grateful that with this internship and with my host organization, Office for National Statistics, I'm really optimistic about having that opportunity to really learn what I'm aspired to do.
One experience that has led me to applying for this internship. I don't really even know where to begin. I've had a lot of traumatic experiences growing up, and I'm a neurodivergent woman, and I'm also physically disabled. I care for my mother and my younger sister. My mother is bedbound, and I've been her carer for the last 5 years. And my little sister has autism and psychosis, so I also help care for her and translate the world to her. So seeing how I was needed to transfer, I became the person that communicated on behalf of my sisters, on behalf of my mother, and that became a very, very hard role because I quite often struggle to advocate even for myself. But so this program for me is about I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been patients. I've been a patient. Sometimes I see doctors more often than I see my friends, for example, and learning how I can use my knowledge to input and help people, not just directly face to face by being a clinician, but also by being able to work with the data and help improve patient care. So yeah, I think those are the main driving factors behind why I am here right now, here today.
All right. Thank you for the question. So, for me, the experience that got me to apply for this internship was whilst I was doing an observership. So, I have a background in medicine, and whilst I was in my 5th year, I did an observership in my home country, and it was an interesting experience because it was an amazing facility. There was the use of electronic health record, whereas most of my medical training was in terms of a paper and pen. Now, whilst the electronic health record was meant to ease the burdens of the clinicians and the patients as well, and to make healthcare service more effective and efficient, it seemed like there were a lot more pain points introduced through that system. So whilst I was observing and working there, I began to notice various points wherein technology could come in to fill the gap. And going back, my overarching goal and desire while pursuing medicine was to change lives, to touch lives. And it wasn't just restricted to patients. I discovered that I wanted to also touch the lives of other clinicians as well as the patient, because to some extent, a happy doctor can equate to a happy patient. So I decided I went into research what could be done to help and fill in these gaps. And then I discovered data analytics, data science, and things like that. that was how I decided I was going to do a master's program right after my internship, right after my medical degree. And then I also figured out that I needed some experience outside of my master's program. So whilst researching all of that, I also came across the health data research Black internship, and I bookmarked it about a year prior to when I applied for the program. And I was like, I was going to apply for this program, I was going to get in, and I was going to gain the experience that I needed. And amazing, I'm here now. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. For me, I think it's much different. I have a background in chemistry, and so I'd worked in the IT industry back home. And also, after a few years there, I moved to the health sector, where I worked most of my, about 70% of my work experience. And before I decided I was going to do something data related, in both roles, I've been managing data, but in the healthcare, I managed health patient data. For instance, when I just joined the hospital, we lacked database. So I had to use my discretion to develop data for patients in the hospital. So that is where I started thinking, well, this is the space I want to fill in. Then I moved to Edinburgh, where I'm studying at the University of Edinburgh, and my course is on data inequality and society. Our first semester, I found out that there's this thing called health inequality. And that is where I think I wanted to work on. So a friend has shared the HDR UK Black Internship Program with me, and I had to go through what it's all about. Then I searched and I found out that there are some elements of health inequality. Obviously, health inequality is not well researched about. So I thought that is going to be something I want to do. And good thing was that this internship was up there. Then I applied for it, and yeah.
These are all really amazing answers and very serious, if I might add. Because if this were me last year and someone asked me, why did you apply? I don't think I would have had an answer as good as what I've just heard. Can we give them another round of applause? So my next question, and I think this is something everybody is excited or curious to know, what are you most excited about learning during this program? Let's start with Esther.
Hello. With this program, I'm most excited to build my connections, learn from other people in a similar industry that I aspire to go into, and just be guided through the waves of this motion of my internship. And I'm really excited to meet all of the people, because my internship is virtual, so, well, I come in once a week, it's hybrid, so I'm really excited to getting to know everybody when I am in the office and building a relationship with everyone.
Okay, for me, I have two main things that I want to take out from this internship. And the first one, I think, and most important, would be the community. I'm seated in this room with some of the brightest minds in this space, and I'm really excited to get to know and talk to people and understand what they are doing in this space, how they're making a change, and how I can contribute to that in some way or form. And then the other would be to build my skills, particularly R, because I understand that that's one of the most important programming languages in health data science, and I've used it since I started my master's program, so I want to really build on that as well. Thank you.
Just to add, I think what I want to take out from this is the network and the community. Over the years, I've come to see that most of the places I want to be, I want to have a network that can take me there. And being a part of a network, I mean, is Health Data Research Alumni Network. So I believe that since I have decided to be a data analyst in the health sector, I need a community where where we exchange communication and conversations. And that takes me to the other point, because I want to build a collaborative expertise, have people I want to research with on collaborations. And this is what I want to take out of it. Basically, all basing on humans. So it's all, for me, about getting to know people that I can work with in the future, and also while building the skill in SQL.
Thank you very much. Obviously, for every one of us, especially for what HDR UK stands for, it's more about community, relationship, and professional development for every single one of us. But in addition to that, I also want to lay emphasis on, personally for me, I'm more interested in, obviously, I have a clinical background, and I've always had the domain knowledge of what it has to do with data science. How do you apply data to solve healthcare issues because of my background? Then I also understand that you need to have the technical know-how for you to actually being able to apply those things. And that's why I'm very, very curious about what are the latest tools, what are the latest methodologies that can actually be applied to using these data. Because one thing I've come to understand, like, our brother was saying something earlier. I said every data is health data. And just recently, I was opportunity to be part of Desert Innovation Summit, which I was one of the organizers. And one of the things we were looking into was our individual data actually affects people's health. If data that has to do with cost of living, data that has to do with accommodation, data that has to do with everything that affects us as individuals. So my interest is actually to learn a lot from this internship and being able to apply the things I learned to solve real life issues and make impact to our life. If I'm not able to make that impact, then I'm not interested in this internship. That's my interest.
So basically, I'm hearing a lot of community networking, and let me just say, as someone who has a bit of experience in this, the community is great. It's really great. So my next question, are the questions hard so far? No? Okay, cool. I'll make it harder. So my next question is, what do you hope to accomplish at the end of the internship? What's next steps for you after the internship? What next? Precious Gift.
Hi, thank you. That's a great question. For me, I think first and foremost would be, aside from completing the internship, would also be completing my master's degree, because I'm currently rounding up on my degree as well. And I'm doing that at the same time with this internship. So it's a learning journey, learning how to balance both of them. So that would be one, completion of the internship, and then finishing my master's degree. And then the other thing would be, I think I've mentioned that, we've already mentioned that before, the community. That is one of the biggest things that I want to take out from this internship. Knowing majority of the people, if not all the people in this room, and even those that aren't present here due to one reason or the other, getting to learn and gain clarity in terms of like the direction wherein I want to, what gap specifically I want to fill in terms of health data science, and how I can actually fill that gap. And aside from that as well, the skill that is needed to fill that gap. So building those skills, the coding skills, the communication skills, the project management skills, because that's another thing that I have come to learn through this internship. Like, whilst we are already getting started on it, is that there's going to be a lot of project management skills that we're going to gain. So that's another thing that I hope to take out from this internship. And yeah, thank you.
Just like you took everything I wanted to say. And to add to that, I specifically want to say that I want to take out being confident in healthcare data research. Research is something I'm very enthusiastic about. And for a few times for the few months I've studied my master's, I've seen differences in research, health clinical and non-clinical. But I want to be more confident when I'm researching healthcare data, and which is why I think this is a perfect platform for me to learn it, and also it will also give me an exposure that I need, which is my master's degree is in data inequality and society, which is a triangular course. So because I'm interning in UCLP, which is dealing with health care inequality, this gives me a hands-on experience in handling healthcare inequality specifically, which helps me to build this confidence even when I want to go ahead becoming a healthcare researcher.
Thank you for that. So I'm hearing a lot of things. I'm hearing I have all these ambitions, I have all these big things, I have all these plans, I have all these things I want to do in 8 weeks, and like, yeah. It all sounds really, really nice and like interesting and something to look forward to. But I have just one question about that. And I'll start with Eddie. How do you plan to balance all of this? Because, yeah, it sounds like a lot. What's your plan for balancing your work commitments with your life commitments and all of that?
Thank you very much. The question is very interesting because a few days ago I was obviously thinking about something in line with this because since I got the internship position, I've been speaking with some individual who actually did this internship previously, and I was trying to learn from their experience and what I need to do so that I could actually be on my game, top level during the internship. And I found out that if I have to put everything into perspective, I'm going to stress myself with a lot of work to do within these 8 weeks. So what I would do is very simple, and that's what I've decided to do, is to set very clear and achievable goals. It might be like my goals, maybe I'm very interested in one, let me say data science framework or even data science tools or visualization tools as it can be called. I want to set very clear achievable goals. And in setting those goals, the goals are meant to guide me, but I want to remain as flexible and adaptable as I can be. That for me is very important because I'm going into an organization. From the little I know about my host organization, I don't know if they have taken interns before, but I feel like I'm the first in the organization right now. So there's a lot of expectation on my side, but then I also want to be very flexible and adaptable to whatever I meet in that organization. So I'm ready for every challenge that comes. I'm ready for whatever this internship will require of me. So I'm very excited about the technical challenge, what I'm going to pick from my host organization. So what I would do, like I've said, is to set very clear, achievable goals and remain as flexible and adaptable as I can be.
Thank you. Definitely, that sounds like a plan. But one thing is, goals always change. The plans always change. Esther, do you want to add to that?
So I think one thing that's really important in terms of work-life balance is making sure you have hobbies, making sure you have things outside of work that you just enjoy and things that give you joy. So for example, for me, I enjoy roller skating, I enjoy swimming, I enjoy writing poetry and sometimes performing it. So using those things to keep me going and making sure I am setting strict boundaries with work because there's time to work, there's a time to play, there's a time for everything in life. And I think you have to prioritize yourself. You can only work if you're well enough to work. And if you burn yourself out by just focusing only on work and putting your everything into work, you're going to find yourself very, very quickly humbled to say the least. And yes, I would say having hobbies that you enjoy, making sure you speak to your friends, family, your loved ones, and just keeping in contact with the people that care about you. I would say those are important things.
Thank you for that. That leads me to my next question, and I'll have just one of you answer this. So in terms of hobbies, Emeka, can you share with us some of the hobbies you have that you think would help you with, taking your mind off the stress of work and all of that?
All right. I do a number of things, but I like being in a mood of not doing any work. To give an instance, earlier this year, I joined the students as change agents at the university, where we worked on a challenge for the university. And at the time, it was getting on my nerves. Like, I have my workload, I have my assignments, I have everything, but I had to run away from it. I went to Glasgow to go and see nature. So such things, it works for me. I just have to take out time, maybe 1 or 2 days, to go and see nature. I'm somebody that is attracted to nature.
Thank you. I do wish we had more time to go through all my questions. I have one last question, but I'm trying to decide if I want anyone on the panel to answer it or I want to be selfish and answer it myself. I'll think about it. I'll start anyways. So my question is, what's something you once heard someone say that has stuck with you? I'm going to start because I want everybody to hear this. So I once heard someone say, whatever you want to do, do it anyways, especially if the reason you are contemplating is because of time, and I'll explain. So when I was trying to, change careers and all of that, something that was at the back of my head was, oh, well, if I go back to do this, I'm going to spend 2 years, 3 years pivoting into this new career. I'm going to be so old by the end of that, but what happens then? And then the person was like, well, even if you don't do it, you're still going to be 27 in 2 years. You're still going to be 28 in 3 years. So you might as well just go ahead and do it, Yeah, so that's something. Yeah, okay, I think, yeah, Esther has something.
So, my quote, nothing records the effects of a sad life as graphically as a human body. So what that quote was to me is that people should be kind to yourselves, to other people. You don't know what other people are going through. You don't know what's going on for them at home, for example. And, for example, some people, you may not be able to see what is wrong with them. You might not be able to see their disability straight away. You may not be able to tell. And I think just extending kindness to everyone, regardless of their race, their gender, and everything, is very, very important, because life does get in the way sometimes. Life does happen. Traumatic things happen to people. And I think we should all just be very kind to one another, be very empathetic, and just take care of each other, because we're all brothers and sisters at the end of the day.
Kindness is definitely very important. And something about kindness that kind of makes my gears turn sometimes is when, no offense, when people say, oh, you don't know what someone else is going through, so be kind. And I'm like, well, they don't have to be going through anything, yeah? Just be kind. Like, it's not going to take anything from you to be kind, so just be kind. And I hope we all remember that as we go into the internship. And with that, we've come to the end of this panel. Round of applause.